welcome everybody to the Onward VR Master League. Thanks for joining us here on this fine Sunday as we wrap up week 1 of the Onward VRML season. And I am your caster, Noman of the 4. I have got a full desk today. I've got Mr. Theta himself on the co-casting desk. Theta, how are you?
Excellent. Thank you for asking.
Perfect. And we've also got joining us live by satellite from the sunny, I assume sunny? I don't know. It might be cloudy. I have no idea what the weather is in New Zealand. But also Mr. James Boak is here. How are you, James?
I am well, and it's always sunny in my hobbit hole.
Absolutely. The best thing that I want to hear is that it's sunny, because right now it's cloudy here, and that's a bummer. But where it isn't cloudy is in the Onward VR Master League Week 1 season, because we have got 2 bright and up-and-coming teams to showcase today in Pandamonium and Blackwatch. Now, we're already in the lobby. We're sitting and waiting for folks to dial in. They'll be here any second, so we're going to go through our bans really fast. We've already got them dialed in. So on the home side, Sand is banned by Pandamonium, and Blackwatch opts to ban Snow Peak. I'm going to take it to James here. Anything out of the ordinary for these 2 bans, for these 2 teams?
I think Sand's probably an expected ban at this point of the season. Teams aren't used to it yet. It's obviously a new map. It's a custom map coming in. Snow Peak, again, it could just be that it's a map they haven't practiced very often. Don't have too much information on Blackwatch's history, map-wise, but looking forward to getting a bit more of that as the season progresses.
And Theta, do you disagree with either of these bans? I mean, do they make sense in the context of these teams and their past history? Is there anything here that you think is a little odd, or do these kind of make sense to you as well?
No, I think they fit in well with the characters of both teams. Blackwatch is known as a more aggro, close-in type of team, so I'm not surprised that they wanted to ban kind of the long-range newer map for them, since Snow Peak was not part of the pool last season, or at least for most of the season. And I agree completely with James on the Sand ban, because it's still just an uncomfortable map for pretty much everybody now.
Yeah, it is a custom map, and new to this season. Custom maps in general new to the Onward Master League, if you've been around for some time. But if not, just a quick overview. So this is a 5v5 tactical milsim that these teams vie for either defending or attacking an objective. Attacking the objective means, of course, getting within range and punching in a little code on your tablet to score 2 points. Otherwise, you get the 1 point for an elimination of the enemy team. And teams will pick maps and sides. So home team gets first pick. They can pick either a map or a side, and then it rotates back and forth. So away team picks and then they pick first in the second map. So we'll see that bouncing around. Now, we do have our first map already dialed in, so let's get that up on the board for folks at home. And it is going to be, a favorite of my my compatriots here, at least in recent times, as we were just talking about in the pre-show. It's going to be Subway. So, are you guys excited for this? I mean, you're here and you're casting. I can't imagine you're not. But any thoughts on this, James?
Oh, I love Subway. I love watching it, and I love playing it. I love attacking, and I love defending on it. It's just, Subway is just, I really enjoy it as a map. It's got enough size to allow some rotations, but it's also got nice linear movements you can make with flanks occurring, but not from multiple directions. Yeah, love Subway. Really looking forward to it.
Theta, do you share your captain's love for this map, or do you have a different outlook?
Well, I might be biased because we have a human mortar machine on our team, but yes, I do enjoy Subway immensely. Basement's not my favorite objective, but any objective on Subway I'm cool with.
Okay. Yeah, well, it is definitely a map that has evolved a bit in the league as we know it. A couple of seasons ago, it used to be a 2-entrance type of thing where you'd have 2 choke points at the top, both for the top and the bottom areas. But since then, Downpour has gone ahead and added 3 new entrances at the least. I think it was actually a totals to like 5 or 6, but quite a bit of traversal available inside this map has now made it definitely a lot more competitive, a lot less watching a sight line or chucking nades around corners in some cases, and a lot more of finding that hole in the defense, punching through, and getting your grubby hands on that objective if you're Marsoc, and of course getting those sweet flanks if you're on the defense side, on the Volk side. So we do have all 10 in the lobby. We can go ahead and let them know that we're ready to get started, but they're likely doing a little bit of pre-game planning here, and then we're going to get ourselves into some action. I want to thank everybody for coming out, for tuning in today on a Sunday, and hanging out with us here, and of course throughout the week for the various casts. Hopefully you guys have been enjoying those. Don't forget, you can vote on the maps you want to see, the casts that you want to see on the matches page. A little highlighted up arrow button that you can hit, and then the casters will do our best to prioritize those so that folks can see the games they want to see. And of course, if you're on the team playing and you want to be casted, that's the best way. That's 5 votes right there. Easy peasy. All right, we're going to let them know, and I think we'll get underway. So, I got to ask while we wait for these teams to kick off. Of course, Panda, a team that has been under the wing of the Mayhem group for some time. Is that still the case? Are they still learning from you guys, or have they really branched off and become their own beast, so to speak?
Well, they are for sure their own team with their own identity, but we just keep a good, close working relationship with them more than anything.
Yeah, not an uncommon thing in this league, I don't think. I think a lot of veteran teams have, for lack of a better word, a sister team or a sort of a close team that they maintain ties with, because this game is easier to practice when you've got 5 other people on the other side of the field to shoot. So not an uncommon thing, but what's interesting to me is, the quality of play for teams like that is so much higher, right? Getting somebody a little bit more senior to guide you through the initial stages of learning this game makes a profound impact. And I want to encourage folks to be inclusive. If you see a team and you like the way they play, reach out to them and practice together and get better together, because that's one of the only ways you're going to get much better at this game, is by practicing against usually more challenging opponents, but really any opponent will do in some cases, and getting those hours in is pretty important. Okay.
Yeah, couldn't agree more. It's just such a high learning curve in this game that if you try to do it on your own, it's not impossible, but you're just climbing up a very steep hill if you decide to do that.
Yeah, and excuse me, the community is very good like that, right? I mean, even in competitive lobbies, you'll dive in, and most folks are pretty ready and willing to help out with little tidbits of information. I mean, of course, they're not going to give away all the super secret strategies that they've got in a lot of cases. Most teams have to develop them on their own based on their play styles, but you get a good sense of what a well-oiled team is like on the field from some of the folks there. And there it is. We don't have to kill time anymore, you guys. We can talk about the thing that really matters, which is Pandamonium and Blackwatch going at it here in round 1. Going to Subway.
We're gonna play roulette, spawn style.
All right, we've got Pandamonium here at the spawn. We'll see what they opt to send. Looks like a 2-3 split. 2 going down low, 3 going up high. This is the basement, the sub-basement OBJ, the sub-track. So they've got a long way to go here.
No need to rush it. Take your time.
Yeah, and Noto now taking a pretty aggressive stance going through the tunnels. Doesn't look like out and out Ryan Dean and Navaste waiting for him if he decides to come around this corner. They are taking their time through the basement, though.
Yeah, he really is pushing up pretty aggressively here.
I think they're about to spot each other. Lasers were just on Reinhardt, but Noto didn't see him.
Well,
Yeah, Noto's not taking night vision right now. That might be a factor.
Yeah, these tunnels can be pretty harrowing without night vision, certainly. Now the footsteps are close enough. You would think that Nevaste was hearing this, but it doesn't matter as the shots ring out from Reinhardt. That is going to ID both sides. The little grenade toss there, too short to find any purchase.
Wish I wasn't terrible shooting.
Let's follow down here in the south stairs and see exactly how this section of the offense is set up. Kesney and Lightwolf both on the stairwells here at the top getting set up. Now you can see the defense through the floor pretty tight. The only member is Noto, who was down there in his little engagement with the other two members of the Marsoc offense, but the rest of this defense very, very close on objective. This is not uncommon for a lot of teams. There is a lot of corners to clear, and you've got that flashlight there, the new flashlight meta coming out. A little bit of blinding work if anybody comes up that track. But so far, all quiet. We've only had a couple of shots ring out.
Wow. I think that's about to change. Nevaste about to come on the corner that Noto now is watching. Reinhardt went behind him. Oh, wow. Nice peek.
-1.
Yeah, I don't think he was expecting that. I mean, he was looking down that corridor, but I don't think he was expecting the low position that Neva took there in order to scoop up that kill and find the first in a series that I know we've got coming up here. So let's pop back over to the defense and see how things are looking on these stairwells. And you can see Nexus, Lightwolf both set up on these stairs looking for the rotations from the defense, but they have not moved an inch since we last floated by here. They are going to be here hell or high water, it seems like. So we're just going to stick down in the sub-basement track and see how the offense decides to approach.
Just the structure of this objective means they don't really have to do that much. You can just stack people around the objective, and it can be a solid defense. I'm not surprising that we didn't see any movement after Noto now went down in the tunnels. Now Ryan Dean, I should say, is on the tracks, far south side, and there's a smoke coming down. Oh!
Ooh, a little bit of team shooting there. Laurel sending shots down through the smoke, and he gets caught out by a machine gun in turn. That leaves just 3 for Blackwatch. The C4 detonating a little too early. Could have caught Lightwolf or Kesney, but a little fast on the pickup as Cash scoops up Ryan on the track, and that is going to be a trade as he goes down and gets confirmed by Kesney.
And there's a flashlight right next to Brandon, that flashlight meta you mentioned earlier. And now would be a fantastic time to put some utility on that little cubby hole.
There goes one. Kesney finds the second to last defender as Brandon makes the peek. Spots Nightwolf going for the cap. Able to knock him out, but not ready for Nexus's rotation up those north stairs. And that is going to seal the deal for the Pandas here in round 1. James, thoughts on that round?
That was a methodical attack. I really liked how that was executed. I feel like the defense maybe gave them the south a little bit too easily, only having that one person extended out and then letting them get control in the south. Once the attacking team gets that control in the south, it's just quite a linear movement up onto objective. I'm talking about the south down in the tunnels. Great rotation by Nexus. As soon as they had that south control, he popped up top, went down the north stairs so that they're coming in from alternate angles onto that last player. Just methodical. I liked it. It was really, really good. You could tell that they practiced it.
Yeah, they took their time all throughout that round. You know, they had open corridors almost everywhere, but that patience, especially in the tunnels with Neva and Ryan, you know, that pays off. It pays off staying quiet and getting your picks on your own pace rather than just charging in and meeting a defender, you know, somewhere in flight. But they did a great job of clearing that low tunnel. They had a good count and ultimately got themselves a point on the board.
Yeah, I am a fan of that compressed defense. I would have just had it just slightly more extended. Control the whole lower zone rather than just half the lower zone would have been the preference there. You do sometimes see teams extend out further, but that's my preference personally.
I always have a hard time with that objective because I'm kind of 50-50. There is some, of course, sense to just stacking it and having folks have to deal with a whole bunch of gunfire coming from just a couple of spots, but you know, not a lot of teams expect that defense to be out and about, and it can be a good way to catch your attackers off guard a little bit before you you know, before you settle into a particular position. So that worked out pretty well for Pandas, not as well for Blackwatch. We'll see if they could turn around here in round 2 and get themselves on the board as well with Marsoc point. See that same 3-2 split this time, it looks like? Yes, indeed.
Kesnay just dropped a detonator for C4 on the main platform, I'm assuming. The expectation is if somebody goes down, they can pull that.
Like here. So basically you should see them
And
and
doing
that's
some
it. Nothing more.
some strategy discussions live, right in the middle of the round. Kesney directing a little bit of the team's motions and positions.
It's like Noto now is the man in the tunnel for Blackwatch once again. But I don't see... Yeah, nobody else went through the tunnel, so the rest of the attack will be coming down on top of the objective.
There's Noto just hearing the comms there. He heard them through the wall as the casters, and he should be able to hear exactly the same thing now. So now he's on high alert. Will he be able to spot Nightwolf sitting looking over the top of those stairs? Will he have the knowledge to not just swing out wide and get caught? Looks like he's just set up waiting for anybody to come around again. A defense pretty solidly tucked in. We have not seen any motion of the 5 Volk players on the screen here. They are holding their corridors much the same as Blackwatch was. Obviously a very different setup. Take a look at the overhead map. You can see they're spread a lot wider, a little weaker on the north, and really stacking that south side, expecting that southern stairwell push.
Down the right, south stairs.
Yeah, from the way that Blackwatch is playing this, it appears that they're expecting a heavy presence on mid-platform because they're spending a lot of time clearing the mid-platform. Not an unreasonable expectation. Sometimes defenses will do that. They'll put somebody on a track, especially near one of the staircases leading into the basement. But in this case, Pandamonium has not put anybody beyond the objective area aside from, you know, Lightwolf and Kesney, I guess, a bit extended on the south.
Taking their time and clearing. We're kind of jumping through just a couple of the first-person views of the offense. You can see the patience and the dedication to clearing each and every angle that these players have. They know they've got plenty of time, 3 minutes, not a likely chance. There's a lot of defenders on a position, so they're taking their time. There's the call there, a C4 detonation. We saw it through the floor. And he was hearing, I think that's what it was. I think was it Kesney that blew that? Because he was hearing the comms above him and blew it expecting a position in the tunnel, but not there now. Ooh, and Lightwolf here in danger a little bit. What's he? Oh, he's probably an
I
nade.
have helmets down there.
Oh, and a fantastically tossed grenade there. Almost catches Lightwolf. It's able to ID it and back off just in time. There's the return grenade. Neither are going to find any purchase. We can start seeing it north stairs. Brandon and Wet the Block both setting up for the push down the stairs. Will they be successful? 50-50, right? We'll see who's quicker on the draw and if they know where these defenders are positioned.
What's so critical on this objective is timing. You can't just have one or two people coming down at once. You got to have everybody coordinating to push all together because you do have that kind of defense. And Nexus takes out Brandon.
Well, that flashbang should have gotten Nexus. Not reacting off of it, but Ryan Dean in the position, not able to find that frag, just a down. Oto is taken out. Wet the Block finds a pick as well, and all of a sudden the objective is cappable. Lightwolf and Kesney have to crash.
Oh, that's a cap. That's going to be a cap for sure.
Yeah, they are not aware at all. I think they're still hearing Floral Chase's movements. They have no idea. They haven't checked tablets. Nothing comes out from the defense, and Blackwatch nab themselves a 2-point round there and go up on the series. James, break it down for us.
Oh, wow. Pandas, I looked like they had that initially. They had it locked down, the 3 entrances, they had control of them. Blackwatch lost a person early by attacking down the stairs before everyone else was aligned. It looked like it was going to go Panda's way. And then Blackwatch were pushing down the stairs without smoke, which I thought was going to be the end of them on that north stair. But that flash, and then the pick on Reinhardt in the north, I think it's Reinhardt in the north, and then followed by Nexus, there should have been a reaction. You hear shots in the north, you're checking your tablet, you're checking your tablet, you're checking your tablet. Brutal blow from what looked like a well set up defense. Just collapsed. Those 2 picks in the north.
Yeah, they were so focused on those footsteps from the Marsoc player above them that I don't think they even thought to check. You know, you get stuck in with your little your corner of the defense, and you just sort of get tunnel visioned on it, and that happens there. Pandas now have to fight back on Marsoc to try to keep things even. But a great round from Blackwatch there. You know, that's the kind of stuff that all the teams love to see. It's when they can lose a round and still come back and have that that coordination and that setup ready to score some extra points, put themselves up. Expecting a pretty good series just based off of these first 2 rounds. We've seen some great play. All right, it's time to get into round number 3 of this series. Oh, I lied. It's a round reset. Some technical issues. What are you gonna do? We're not gonna leave the gameplay scene yet. We're gonna stick around. I have a feeling they'll be back relatively quickly. The objective, as you can see, is up on this south alleyway, just up the south stairs. A new one for this season.
I have to say, I'm deeply disappointed we didn't see any team kills in that round reset. Thought we caught them better than that.
For us.
Yeah, that is one way to reset your team, I suppose. I know folks from my former team dislike that form of reset. But, you know, to each his own, however you get it done. Listen, if they're not resetting fast enough, that is absolutely not anybody else's fault but their own. They deserve to die.
Well, we have a tradition on Mayhem that if the other team resets, somebody's got to pull the knife and start going. But that's either here nor there. Round has launched.
Yeah, we are into round 3, and already Ryan Dean and Neva, the combo platter from Pandas marching up this center alleyway at the ticketing entrance. They're gonna run into Cash Crazy, who's tucked in this position. If he stays quiet, he might be able to scoop up a kill or 2.
C4 on Lightwolf.
Ooh, and it works out quite nicely, it seems, as Brandon scoops that up. We're gonna check in real fast, and the trade comes out. That is 3 members down in one alleyway, and not a kill has come out yet. Neva peeking out this way. Won't be able to spot Floral's position, but now, oh, if Cash just popped out right there on the footsteps, he may have been able to scoop up a kill. But it doesn't quite pan out that way. I really want to see how this action unfolds. Ryan, meanwhile, will get the res and the confirm on both players there. There's Cash reacting off the footsteps. But the block defending against Kesney's push there, and that's going to make it a 4v2 with the res available.
Yeah, I feel like the meta spot that's shown up now is where Floral Chase is. We're seeing this on every cast I've seen so far on this objective. People are occupying that spot now.
Oh, fantastic peek there.
Wow.
By Cash. Crazy to seal the deal on that round. I mean, they just were not at all prepared. We'll take a look at that in the replay. But James, thoughts on that?
Seemed like a bit of an individualistic type approach there from Pandamonium. On this objective, I really like to see that control of that west alley because there's so many cap opportunities. It forces the rotations out of the defense because you can cap behind in the alley without being seen by the main north to south one. And their defense only had one person dedicated to that direction. Would have liked to see a bit more pressure on there. I don't know, I just feel like they pushed in one at a time. There weren't the refrags there, and you could see by the result what happened.
I think that double downed series, I think pushing just one person through that alleyway broke them up too much, right? Broke off their coordination on their initial push, and then of course you have to go rotate all the way back around, try and pick up the members of your offense, and then go all the way back. You know, we saw Ryan go basically back and forth across the map twice. And that's time wasted, and that's time that your team, either should be waiting for you or should be adjusting as a result of, a lack of coverage in an area. But that double down definitely did not help that approach, and that's going to put Blackwatch in a position to scoop up map 1 really quickly.
I feel like this is where it's a good objective where you could dedicate like a 3-man push to a certain direction with good separation, working as a team. Use your utility.
Right, we have got round number 4 kicking off here.
We have to push to the right angles before they can get them, so we have to play this one faster.
We're in quick
Blackwatch gets the same spawn.
Get over to the boundary.
Don't get too crazy.
Yeah, there's some discussion happening in the offense. They've got to do a faster play.
Right here covered.
Is what we're gonna keep our eye on these rushes. We'll see how quickly Ryan Dean under pressure early gets tucked in, saved by the wall there. You can see all the bullets that did not quite make it, but now he's tucked in. An easy grenade. As I say that, he's the one that tosses the grenade. Goes for the blinding flash. Does not find any purchase there, and now it's just a back and forth battle. Holding that tight angle. There's the frag toss. There it is. It does find Ryan in the end. He's still up and can give the call outs.
It's still alive, watch it.
There's no one else on that far corner where we saw
Immediate right.
Floral in the last game, just down this corridor here. Oh, the C4 detonation going off. Again, just a touch early. Could have been 2. Had they waited on footsteps, but now the conflict is on the
Top of those stairs, though.
north side of the alleyway here.
Yeah, he's still there.
The block finds Neva and Kesney on objective, and just like that, Pandamonium down to 2.
Oh. And Light Wolf, if he doesn't... Oh, okay, he's adjusting now, but... Wow, nice peek by Light Wolf. Takes out 2 on the objective. Bring it down to 1v2.
It's all going to be about how they apply this pressure. Will it come at the same time? There's the smokes. He's reacting off of that. Now Floral's going to find the backside. If he just peeks the corner now, Light Wolf's not aware, and there it is. Sealing the deal is Floral. And that's exactly what you want to see, that kind of waiting for another member of your offense, another member of your team to make that distraction and make that play. James, any thoughts on that round and that map?
I think the critical point there was when they lost the north. Reinhardt Rindeen getting into that position. It's a good spot if you're not identified, but as soon as you're identified, you're trapped. You can't get out of there. I would have liked to see Neva supporting him when he went down a bit more. I feel like there was an opportunity to use some utility to, push back the attack. The late push out by Neva onto that corner probably would not be something I'd recommend, because you need to be there and to hold that north down. As soon as it went down, it forced rotations out the rest of the defense, and Blackwatch capitalized on that strongly. Light will put up a good last stand, taking 2 out, but it was just ultimately too much, and Blackwatch did the right thing by attacking the corners at the same time. You can't watch 2 directions at once. It was all over. But yeah, they're like that north. As soon as that north went down, that was that round. Gone. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, we've got our second map up on the screen for everybody there, but it's going to be Downfall, it looks like. This is, a league staple for quite some time, and I'm going to defer to Theta and James here. So, Theta, thoughts on Downfall for either of these teams? I mean, obviously, from a Panda standpoint, you may have some information, but what are your thoughts on this pick for Blackwatch going into map 2?
Well, I think they're trying. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, James.
Sorry, Theta. It's a really interesting pick given their ban. This was one point I wanted to make. They banned a map, Snowpeak, which does have long range elements. So they're maybe not just picking it because of the long range aspect. It's probably a map which they've also practiced and have defensive strats on, especially. Theta, anything further from the Blackwatch side?
Yeah, I think you're 100% correct about that. Both teams have experience on this, and I don't know how many people remember this, but in Season 10, they famously had an escort match between these two teams, the only one in the modern era, if you want to call it that, of Onward, and it was decided on this map. So maybe they want to get back on this, because Pandamonium won it last time they played.
A grudge match of sorts between the two on this map then. I think Downfall is one of those maps that it can play to almost every kind of playstyle. Even an aggressive playstyle has a place on Downfall, as long as you know your lines, you know your angles, you use your equipment well. I think it's a lot more well-rounded than a lot of teams give it credit for, but it definitely rewards patience more than anything else. It is a very communication and patience-centric map, because you want to make sure that your teammates are giving you the right information so that you don't have to stick your head out a window before it's time to do so. And we'll see how these teams adapt to it here in map 2.
Yeah, I think it gets sort of stereotyped as the map where you can just kind of, quote-unquote camp a lot, but truth is, if you don't have a good tempo on this map, it's so big that you can run out of time. And you even see that in high-level matches between teams that are a little less aggressive, where they either flat out run out of time or they get so far down to the wire that they have to rush and make bad plays as a result.
Yeah, it's not uncommon to see, and we saw it especially in last season's play because of the 5-minute timers. That we were playing on League 5-minute timers for matches. It's 6 minutes again here in Season 11, but when we took that 1 minute away, it did make a pretty substantial difference in a lot of teams' play, especially in the first few weeks, as they got acclimated to missing that 60 seconds. And, it's still hotly debated whether or not 5 or 6 is the right call on certain maps, but on Downfall, I feel like it's always been a map that does require, patience is important, but having the time for that patience is a whole other thing. And I think teams are finally starting to find their rhythm again on it, and I think that extra minute does come into play. So we'll see how that works here. I think we're seeing a sub. Yeah, we did see a sub come in. Silverfire now in for the Blackwatch side. That was the cause of the delay, but now we've got everybody in the lobby. We should be kicking off here in just a moment. I hate doing this. This is asking for a caster curse, but any predictions on how this map goes? Blackwatch looked pretty dominant in that first one. Any thoughts on that, James? Any predictions?
I know Panda can be well controlled on their defense, so they've got the bulk advantage. If they lock their defense in, this could go well for Panda. This objective, however, is a wildcard one, and with this spawn from Marsok is very much so a wildcard. So we could see some really early action and some not so well set up defense because of the spawn.
Yeah, this quick spawn up here, you see the laser already panning over it. They are looking for any members of the offense coming over. We're going to see contact here very quickly as Brandon spots out Ryan Dean. The shots ring out, don't land.
And Android Goat running straight at the offense.
Ooh, and a great choice as he picks up Wet the Block. Now has to rotate. Will he be spotted out by Brandon or anybody else? No, he makes it.
Wow, and he got subbed in as well. So Blackwatch took on Silver, but he came in to take Kesne's spot, it looks like. And Android, a very aggressive player, sort of by default, so not terribly surprising to see this play. But he could really deal some damage right here if the offense continues to push out in the open.
Noto does find Neva there on a nice little peek around North Marsoc, and starting to even things out a little bit. 4v4 is the count.
Android's just sitting in that tower waiting to see somebody pop out from Marsoc. I'm sure he heard those shots. Meanwhile, Brandon's coming out of the South Valley, flanking a little bit on the defense.
Yeah, he's gonna get in under a couple of people here, but no, Android spots him out. Gets that nice pick with the AK-12, the suppressed AK-12 out of the tower. Here comes the flashbang, not gonna find anybody. Lightwolf scoops one up in mid. Actually, that's Red Truck. He found Red Truck all the way up there. He's tucked in. You can see they're inside the stables.
Bro, what? Oh, fuck.
Ooh, go ahead. Noto now with a botch throw there. I feel that pain. It's happened to me many times.
That's just 1 v4, as Noto does go down to the shots from Nexus. And this defense, contrary to James's original prediction, pretty well set up. They have the right angles. I think Android's initial aggressive push there is really what locked it in, kept that offense from really storming that southern side of the objective. We'll see if Silverfire, the sub, the new... Oop, actually, jumping into the wrong player there. If Silverfire, the sub, can bring it back for his team. Does he spot him? I think he does spot Ryan Dean in the hills there. Can he land the shot?
There's also one
Noto now is giving a boatload of callouts at the moment, so that's helpful. I don't think anybody is in position, at least from where they are at the moment, to confirm Noto. So he has a pretty good view of a lot of the objective area. There's a little bit of a... Oh, so I say that Android confirms him. So no more callouts for Silverfire.
Yeah, Silverfire's got an uphill battle here, and a defender could have eyes on. He just moves about 5 feet straight ahead. And there's the laser. He saw it pan over. May have been spotted out already. Oh, the shots ring out, and Light Wolf will seal the deal for Panda on this map 2. James, walk us through that.
I feel like I said this yesterday watching Downfall, and I feel like it's a similar sort of thing. It was decided in the first 10 seconds. Maybe a little bit of inexperience on this new objective. Marsoc had the spawn where they could have locked them down, and you could see that Volk, that Panda, were worried about that spawn, and they got in positions to look for that spawn initially, hidden behind the tank and hidden behind this rock wall, but then they thought that they hadn't spawned south because they didn't rush up onto that hill. They started to move into their more extended positions. They started to move Reinhardt up onto the hill in the far east, and they moved Android Goat into the White Tower. And they got trapped in the open when Marsoc did actually peek that hill, but they just got lucky. And they managed to make it to their extended positions and could then lock the objective down with those extended positions. But that easily could have gone the other way. If Blackwatch had sent a couple up onto the Valley Ridge, and really stopped those rotations, peeked over, stopped those rotations, they could have got a couple of early picks. They could have stopped Android Goat getting the White Tower. They could have stopped Reinhardt Dean getting the Eastern Hills, and that would have made a lot of difference to the attack.
Ken Theta, anything surprising to you about that offensive approach? I mean, it seemed scattered, I suppose would be the word I would use, but did anything surprise you about that, or was that something you like? Is that a play that you think would work normally?
My opinion is if you have that spawn, it's such a commanding advantage to be able to just rush over that hill and catch everybody before they get into the into their defensive positions that I personally don't see a ton of value in spreading out like that. Not to say it's totally wrong, but if you know you're going to have that hillside to shoot down from, why not just maximize that? That's the way I would think about it.
Hold it for 30 seconds, then do your spread out.
Yeah.
You've got heaps of time. You've got 6 minutes. Hold it for 30 seconds, then go do your thing. Yeah.
All right, round 2 underway. We'll see if Blackwatch can answer back or not, but they're going to have to do it. I apologize. Blackwatch there does find the pick on the Panda, so they're doing a great job already to answer back as they bring Panda down to 4 early. Panda not getting that mirrored spawn, but they are approaching the same direction nonetheless. Losing 1, though, is not great.
And they lost Android, who was the one that rushed into the tower on the last round. So he kind of a linchpin player for that kind of play because he is so aggressive. Be curious to see how they adapt to that. Maybe slow down a little bit.
Looks like they're getting their folks into position here. Ryan Dean all the way up here in the southeast valley. Is there a scenario in which he sneaks by Brandon? Because there's not a lot of coverage for the backside of this objective here. This is in fact his plan, and we could see Brandon's view there. So if Ryan keeps going this way, he's gonna have a hard time. Oh, and I lied, there was somebody watching out this way as Cash scoops up the pick long range from the Marsoc spawn there in the north.
And the issue with this offense, it's going to be very hard for them to support each other across those distances. You know, Nev in the middle, Light Wolf and Nexus both in the south. There's a lot of cover, a lot of obstacles between them.
A lot of ground to cover and only 3 folks to cover it with. I mean, we're seeing it's almost a mirror. It's of course a different set of spawns, but a mirror of the situation that happened for Blackwatch's offensive push. Is that they're just losing people one by one, very slowly, very, at long range, and it's bit by bit. But they are working down this offense. We saw Lightwolf take a few shots there and have to back off. Find a new approach here. He could be running right into Brandon's trap. He's definitely hearing these footsteps. Check in here with, yeah, I was just gonna say Nev's position here is looking like she's looking for something long range, but tough to see.
I've been hanging out near her for a few seconds, and she's giving good call-outs. Problem is going to be very hard to have any real situational awareness when you're this far away. Ooh, and Lightwolf just... Oh, he's spotted by Brandon. I think Brandon knows it. He's in there for sure, and a single headshot settles that. All up to Nexus and Nev, but again, very separated from one another. If one of them goes down, it's no chance for a refrag as far as I can tell.
This is an interesting line taken by Nexus here. I mean, it could work. Again, if you just get under the defender's line, it's entirely possible that... a shot there ringing out. Oh, and a nice frag reaction off of that shot. Nexus able to scoop one up, and that's the first member of Blackwatch that goes down. That's 4 minutes into the round. There's a lot of work still left to do. Smokes from Neva coming out. But with the block ready to go. Tucked into this, this little half wall here. That smoke, when you look at it from a distance, like, you know, drop in a bucket type scenario. How much are you really going to cover of your approach? Wet the block. There it is, finding the last kill onto Nexus and sealing the deal for their tied point here in map 2. James, any thoughts on that offensive approach? Apparently the offense is not favored.
No, I think that's more of a classical defensive setup when you are able to get to your defensive spots because that spawn was further away by Marsok. Losing Android Goat at the start obviously was quite a big blow, but then there almost were a couple of good lines onto objective. If they just adjusted their line, they tried to crawl along the east slightly, they could have made it in. I was looking during the round, there was a line which was not covered by the defense. I also like to see north control, because that northeast spawn building, whatever your team calls it, the one I've just dropped there, because that building is so powerful, I like to see north control. I like to see a more traditional attack on this objective, where you do get both directions control and then work your way in. They just lost a couple of people a little bit too early, and then yeah, everyone was having to work more as an individual, and it just slowly came apart. Wasn't sure if Nexus should have taken that shot. It's the only part there near the end. The shot on Brandon, if he hadn't taken that shot, all the defense was looking away, and he would have been able to make it up within a couple of meters of objective without being spotted.
Yeah, it's such a tough call to make when you're boots on the ground. You know, you're always
massive.
Yeah, it's a tough. You know, you kind of have to commit. You have to commit to either your completely silent approach or you're just going to try and gun everybody down. And there, I think it was a numbers game. I agree. It would have been better to be silent at that stage because they had no idea that Nexus was there. Right, round 3 kicking off. Panda back on the defense. We've got South HQ objective.
It's like Blackwatch got the North Hotel spawn.
Just like that, They lose one. Ryan Dean on a long shot with that auto G3. Scoops up a pick, and Blackwatch down a man. We're seeing that as a pattern now. You lose one member of your offense in the first 30 seconds. 3 rounds in a row so far.
That is not a pattern you want to sustain if you are playing offense. It's just on this map, losing one person against a 5-up defense is just, it snowballs really, really fast. The advantage compounds for the defense the more people you lose. And losing one right away, it's just devastating.
Yeah, and you've got that. Now you have to work with the knowledge that the defense knows where you spawned. They know where you're coming from. They have good timings down on how long it may take you to run, you know, from a particular building to another. So now you've got to worry about that. Oh crap! They know where I'm gonna be.
And it's just psychologically quite impactful on both fronts. You've lost one of your teammates right away, and like you said, they know where you are, which means you've lost a pretty key advantage.
Look now, the west crossing here. Nexus puts Cash under pressure, has to rotate out as the shots don't land.
We got one in Center Hotel, 2nd floor.
Callouts come in, but already incorrect as Nexus has rotated out. That's the importance of the stick and move defense. Don't stay in the same spot. Cash almost losing his head there to some sniper fire. Has to now crawl. Neva in White Tower sending a few bullets down. Yeah, there's really no feeling quite like having a sniper bullet whiz past your face. when you're playing Onward. A lot of your game plan goes out the window pretty quickly. And you have to start rethinking about how you're going to do this approach.
Especially on downfall. There's no worse feeling than being ID'd and not knowing where the shots are coming from. And like, oh boy, I have to rotate now and go somewhere I did not mean to go initially.
Android Goat, though, able to scoop up Cash, who was forced to make that approach down West Street. But a lot of defenders there and nothing to distract them really from his approach. Android scooping up another, putting Blackwatch down to 3. We've got Wet the Block now pushing up. The shots come out. He can't sprint, but he's just around the corner in time to give himself that sweet syringe juice and continue the sprint. Now Ryan Dean dialed in to this position, as well as Neva. They're both constantly looking for... Oh, he's got to tuck in now. He's got 2 members of the offense in his building with him. He is tucked in and quiet. I mean, you can see the focus of the defenders here.
I think Noto now and Silverfire heard Ryan's callouts. They were...
The shots ring out. The pre-fire on the corner not working out for Noto, and now he is out of the race. Just 2 members of the offense remaining, as Silverfire and Ryan Dean have to deal with each other. We can see that in Center Hotel, with the block on that first floor looking, he's going to have to scoop up Nexus if he wants any sort of chance on that objective. 2 minutes left.
Blackwatch dealing with the same problem the Pandas were dealing with last round. 2 remaining offensive players way far apart from each other. And they, as to James's point when he was analyzing it, they have to work as individuals in some sense. Like, they can communicate, but they're pretty much on their own right now.
Yeah, I'm just upstairs. I'm in the little crook on the top.
These callouts are so interesting. So Nexus calling out the wrong position to his teammates, or most likely not even using his radio and just trying to bait Wet the Block into looking at a particular area, as he called himself as up top in the hotel. But of course, as we can see, he's on the first floor. That's that mind games aspect. You got to play some mind games with your your opponents and try and get them looking in the wrong spot. Silverfire going down to a nice shot by Neva from the White Tower, and now the rush comes in. The panic rush from Wet the Block, not gonna do any good for Blackwatch as Panda charge forth into their second point here, making it a 2-1 on map 2.
Perfect defense. 5-up defense, had it locked down. Some little more exposed positions, but then once they expose themselves, locking back in, forcing the attack to have to try to dig them out. Sometimes that's a better thing to do, is actually let your position be known, because then the attack has to deal with you. If you let your position be known and then don't peek so that they have to deal with you, it can be a very powerful thing. It can run that clock right down. I think letting the defense get to Center Hotel and get to Lower Dumpster without being identified, on attack you can hold some lines to at least see those crosses. Sometimes you can actually pick them before they get there. That shot from Reinhardt Dean at the start, nice shot across the map. G3 auto as well, not known as the most accurate weapon in the game, but boom, dead. Nice work. Yeah, pretty traditional defense, but really well executed.
We saw that systematic dismantling of the offense again. Like you said, it becomes an individual game, and losing folks early, as Theta mentioned, especially top of the round in downfall, can really throw your offense into disarray. And Panda starting that off the way I'm sure they wanted to, and we'll see if they are able to be the first team in map 2 to not lose a member of their offense in the first 30 seconds of the round. This will be the 4th round.
I will be timing it.
I'm paying attention. These are the kinds of statistics I'm always looking for. How often are we losing people out of spawn? And we'll see what happens here as round 4 looks to be underway. Looks like we do get mirrored spawns for the offense, but let's jump into gameplay and take a look at what round 4 has in store for us today as Pandamonium charge forth for their offensive approach to South HQ. Defense getting set up. Are they gonna have early looks? It looks like they're charging everybody down through that little valley there, getting 3 on objective. Looks like 2. One's heading out towards dumpster. Almost catches a few rounds for his troubles, but manages to tuck in time. There's the call out of I think I may have gotten him. Well, you think or you did. They're 2 different things. Very, very different call outs. So operating under the assumption you killed somebody without knowing it can be pretty dangerous. But 40 seconds did go by and nobody dead on the Panda side. So they've broken the streak. Managed to keep all 5 up. Now we'll see if that is the catalyst. If that's what's needed to get a Marsoc round point up on the board. Because so far it has been Volk rounds back and forth. Nexus under fire from Noto. Gonna land the shots. I like this defense. I like the way they've got it set up. They've got the right coverage. Looking out towards the west. The only somewhat weak point is the north. But with Brandon in that white tower and with the block having the option to peek out that that doorway directly to his right should be enough to stop anybody coming in that way.
The one thing I find a little surprising about this setup is they don't have anybody in center hotel. And for this objective, you just have such a clear view of the objective from there. It's very powerful position. I'm kind of surprised they were willing to give that up.
Oh, the one tap shot from Neva will down the member in dumpster, and the call out there from her that may just be a down is correct. So the call outs will come in pretty hefty from Cash. However, we're not most likely going to see any sort of revive coming out, as that position is pretty tucked in.
And now because Center Hotel wasn't occupied, this West Road approach is pretty much open now. Cash is down. He can give call outs, but once that's confirmed, they can start surrounding it. And they take out Silverfire, maybe wet the block. Noto and who is this? Brandon up in White House are going to be hard pressed to stop an attack right on the objective.
Yeah, this could easily be a cap if you get the right coordination with your offense down. Position right now is Ryan Dean there in the North Marsoc. Doesn't have a great view on really any defender's position. Maybe Noto is the one he's looking for. Yeah, it looks like the laser is panning that building. I think he's looking for a pick on that.
Yeah, right side of the building, right side. Right in the middle, by those walls.
Callouts coming in from Casher. Really good. He's got Neva dialed in.
You, Noto.
Here comes Android with the confirm, and that's going to open things up quite a bit as Silverfire goes down as well. And that's 2 members out and confirmed, and now the defense has to be thinking about caps. Wet the block now has to push out. Android should be ready for this. No, he's not. Wet the block shutting down that push towards the objective. Now things are starting to open up as Ryan Dean pushing the backside of Brandon. Can he scoop up this defender up top?
That was an excellent rotation at just the right time. And Ryan is in the South Valley putting shots onto the objective, but Brandon's in White House. I don't think he knows he's there.
Oh, he absolutely knew he was there. He had called him out, but Ryan ready for that peek. Brandon, again, it's one of those, do I stay tucked in or do I challenge it? I don't know that I would have challenged that necessarily. Noto scoops up Light Wolf. Ryan Dean, meanwhile, knocking out wet the block on the objective. Now Noto has to crash. Somebody's going to have eyes on here pretty quickly, and there it is, Nexus. We'll seal the deal, get that final kill for the offense, and we see our first Marsoc win of the map 2 we've seen so far. James, thoughts on that round?
At one point you said you liked the defense. I was about to say, oh, I'm not sure about this defense. I felt it was just a little bit too exposed to the north. People were looking out through windows. You saw a really critical pick onto Cash Crazy and Lower Dumpster exactly the right time, just before Android Goat was going to expose himself to that position. That pick was the key, in my opinion. It's unfortunate that Lightwolf was suppressing Android Goat in that building later in the round, because I feel Goat had good control over the objective, and that just distracted him a little bit, that team suppression. But yeah, just methodical encircling of the objective, picking off, forcing the rotation back, and then cleaning up that rotation as they went through the open. Good attack, well controlled around the objective. Defense-wise, not bad, just a couple of just collapsed a little bit once some weaknesses were exposed. So maybe not exposing yourself to those peaks as much on the defense would mean that setup would work a lot better.
Yeah, the position that I was a little unsure about was the way Cash was watching out towards the West Street rather than in, because you've got Silverfire, you've got your White Tower Brandon that should have good coverage of West and that sort of central approach. And you kind of want him looking back towards White Tower, watching Brandon's back to, prevent Ryan Dean from getting that pick, from forcing Brandon to come out. It's a good way to let the offense come to you, right? No need to look for that engagement at an extraordinarily long range, especially knowing you've got snipers on the other team. Neva with some key pickups in that round. I think that's the one big mistake that I saw there was getting yourself in those windows early and allowing the offense to sort of scope you out and knock you out a little sooner than you would most likely want to be.
There's a lot more spots the offense can be than the defense. So exposing yourself to a window, they're going to be scanning those windows, those 4 or 5 windows which you could potentially be in. They're going to scan them. They could be anywhere.
Absolutely. We've got the northeast spawn for Blackwatch offense as they attack the new dumpster objective. Sorry, not new as in the objective is new, but as in it has changed since the last round. Now, the approaches here are relatively similar, but what's interesting is the spawns are so different and where you can get your defense to. They end up being quite a different defensive setup. As you can see, Android Goat getting up into Brothel there in the south is a key difference. Largely, they've kept mostly the same as their first one. I think Android is really the only outlier managing to get himself up into Brothel. Take a look at the overhead map here as they get set up. So that 3-2 split from Blackwatch. You've got kind of a 2-2-1 layered defense by Pandas. You can kind of see, actually, let's pop back to the overhead for just a second. You can see how the Panda defense is looking in towards the objective more than they are looking out towards where the offense is coming from, something we were just talking about. Just having that defense be focused closer to the objective rather than looking for those picks out over long distances.
I think also they're likely playing more conservatively just because this is potentially a map point and they have the bulk advantage. Force them to come in, make mistakes. Already Cash Crazy and Noto have exposed their position by firing on Lower Dumpster. So they know there's at least some attack coming from that direction now.
There was a call out I heard there as I was panning over and somebody was mentioning that there's somebody in the Southwatch building. However, that would be that building right there in the center of your screen. As you can see, there's no defender there, but it is White Tower. I think he was taking some shots from White Tower early on. Might have been that call out. Will Wet the Block be ready for Nexus's position here? He's about to walk right into the line of sight. Not going to be able to spot that out. And Blackwatch down to just 4 here.
Brandon and Silverfire are about to run right behind Neva. And, yep, she just gave a call out, so they know there's now a south attack coming as well. And having this White House occupied is so powerful because even if you don't kill anybody, the moment they hear those callouts coming from White House, they know they have to clear it. For this objective, it's mandatory. So now they've got to spend time and energy trying to get rid of Navaste.
And you can see the defensive difference here. You can see Android panning this hill on the backside. Now Neva does not have to push out of this building. Doesn't have to get exposed early on. And the shots there ringing out. There it is. Keeping that defender inside that building is obviously far safer than having them defend themselves on the back. And you can see between Ryan Dean and Android and Neva herself, they have pretty good coverage of this stairwell here. And that's going to slow up Silverfire. Now he knows there's a lot of people keeping an eye on that south hill.
Yeah, it's a good trap for the defense to use because they know they have to clear it, like I said. And like you were saying, they've got overlapping lines all around it. So if you decide to push in there, which you kind of have to do one way or another, you run a big, big risk.
Android Goat here may be able to spot Noto, especially with the shots ringing out. There it is. Spots him out in the end. Able to scoop that up. And we've got Panda with 5. Blackwatch with 2. So this could be the... starting to look like a tied series. We're going to be going into a map 3 decider. Unless the final 2 members of this offense can stitch something together. Neva now looking out the backside here. Just missing Silverfire's rotation out. And this could be a cap. Am I crazy? Oh, he just gets spotted. If he'd have gone for the basement, there's a chance he might have been able to make it inside the basement of that building. But that was almost a substantial hole in the defense. And a 2-point score for Blackwatch, but not in the cards today, as now the last 60 seconds are on the clock. Cash Crazy, the final offensive member for Blackwatch. Can he put something together, or is this going to be a Pandamonium map 2 win going into a Series 3 decider? There it is, the question answered quickly as Pandamonium scoops up the final kill. Get themselves
with another
on the
perfect
board.
defense. Just another perfect defense, 5 up, well executed. Bit of a theme going there from Pandamonium. I noticed they moved to a first position just to hide for a little bit, and then if they realize it's not a particular spawn, a dangerous spawn, they move out to a secondary position. So you got Android Goat out into a position you don't see played too often, and was executed really well. The one weakness during that round, Ryan Dean should have been watching that south approach to the basement. If it'd been a couple of seconds, if he diverted into the basement, and if Nev hadn't swung around at the same time Android did, could have gotten in there for that cap. So a little bit of a weakness, a bit of an adjustment, but other than that, that defense, cross-covering lines, all the approaches covered, not exposing yourself, letting your position be known so they had to dig you out, all of those things, all those boxes ticked off, and just a little bit too much to ask from Blackwatch on the attack.
Yeah, that was a fantastic series to watch. Pandamonium coming back in a big way, responding to that 4-1 on Subway with a 4-1 of their own. And now we've got our 3rd map on the docket, the one to decide the series for this match. It's going to be Bizarre. Thoughts on this map, Theta? Is this an expected pick for Panda?
Yeah, I would say so. And this is a map that I'd say they are traditionally fairly good at. And it's also a map where you can get a little flanky. You can really surprise the other team because there's so much cover, there's so many buildings. You can throw things at them that they're not expecting and really cause damage in a big way early in a round. So I think that's a good pick on their part.
Yeah, and James, is there anything you are expecting to see here out of either of these teams? Anything you're going to be keeping your eye on in particular?
Well, based upon the previous couple of maps, I expect to see defenses which have lockdown cross-covering lines from Pandemonium. But I expect those defenses to potentially get some weaknesses exposed and maybe see a cap out of Blackwatch if they do, get that pick and then push in immediately afterwards. Attacking wise from Pandemonium, not sure. I haven't seen them attack this objective before. In particular, a bit of foreshadowing on that. Yeah, I'm looking forward to see whether they go with that more downfall surrounding type attack, or whether they do push aggressively in through a certain direction.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a. I think caps could decide this one. We saw that first cap on Subway come out from Blackwatch with a big Pandemonium mistake in defensive coverage, not checking their tablets. So far, they've had pretty good coverage, not really letting anybody get too close to cap range, aside from that last round of downfall where just the decision by where that offensive member chose to run could have been that mistake in that round, but luckily cinched up for Panda and giving them that second map. So as long as they stay vigilant about it, I would be hard pressed to say that they're going to allow another one through. But as you mentioned, there is a new objective here in play, as there are on several maps of the standard downpour set. And this is going to be that east tank on the mid-street objective. You'll be seeing it here on your screen in just a few moments. In this one, we have seen already quite a few caps come out just this week in some of the casted matches. Earlier on in the week, I saw two almost back-to-back, I think it was, or at least a very good attempt by several teams. So it's definitely one that offenses are starting to try to figure out how they can get those 2 points and force the defense to make mistakes. I think a lot of it is just the defense doesn't have a lot of real estate when it comes to where they can get to before they're spotted by a member of the offense. So it really allows the offense to contain the defense at the start and have far less corners to clear, far less obstacles to maneuver, and get those points on the board. And as I say that, teams are ready, loaded in, and good to go as we get into map 3, the decider. I'll take a look at the overall scores so far on the map. You can see it's a 4-1 and a 4-1 for both teams. Ooh, those total scores are incorrect. Got to reset those. It is a 5-5 total score, of course. Little C4 coming out there on the boxes. Unusual, not something I've seen often. But you can see now the offense is already, 10 meters from the objective so quickly. 30 seconds in, and Ryan Dean's already scoping out any potential members of the defense here. Smokes do come out, and flash is tossed, not sure by whom there. If he comes out on the street, Ryan Dean is absolutely going to catch a boatload of bullets. Noto and Wet the Block both watching this corridor. But he's going to opt not to push that from that specific angle. Instead, opting to go around. Here is he going to catch Cash Crazy. Quite fast enough on the reaction time. That grenade not going far enough either. And now Nexus is here on the other side. The pressure coming in from this northern approach.
Looking a lot more like Ryan was acting as a diversion, causing a lot of noise, throwing a smoke. Maybe just gave his teammates some time to set up in the south so they can do a proper encirclement.
Shots ringing out here from Light Wolf. Ryan Dean does manage to trade it out with Cash, and Noto and Android get into it as well, and that's going to make it a 3v4. Nexus able to scoop that kill up in the end. Ooh, Brandon with a quick reaction around the wall. Don't know if he heard the footsteps or just call-outs. It is loud over here by the objective. Tough to hear anybody. We'll see if Neva can react off of those shots.
Well, this is a really interesting spot that Neva's in, because if she can pick Silverfire and Brandon doesn't adjust, she could potentially sneak around that tank. I mean, even if she could do it right now, even without picking Silverfire, if she just stays low enough.
With the block has it covered.
Yeah, What the Block has that line across.
Yeah, did not see that laser.
So it is going to be 2 members of the defense at minimum that will have to go down here to give Neva the opportunity. This defense staying tucked in. 3 minutes left. Lightwolf is... Android Goat is back up as Lightwolf does get that res open. And now Noto
South dead.
finally able to secure the kill. No down
I think it's only one.
for Android left, as he's already been downed once. Noto knows Lightwolf is here, though, so there's still an opportunity to be relatively sneaky.
What's the kill count?
Neva's still up here. Smoke's coming in. That's going to give away the position of where the toss came from, but a nice little play there. She baited Brandon out with that smoke, got him to go try and adjust it, and for his troubles, he caught a few bullets. Now Neva on the rotation, likely going to try and get that res. We'll see if she can get by Wet the Block's position, but he's shifted a little bit.
Minute and 55 to get the res and coordinate.
That's a unit.
Still doable, but Blackwatch has pretty good lines around this objective right now. And Brandon, even though he's down, in a good position to give callouts for anybody that comes along, comes along to that courtyard where Nexus is down.
Neva going for that long cross as Nightwolf creeps up the backside. Minute and 30 left. She does make it across. Likely going to be a call out, though, from Wet the Block. Even if he couldn't find the shots, he will. Oh, unfortunate. Just gets to the body and he bleeds out as a result. Nope, that syringe not going to pan out for you, Neva. 60 seconds left. 2 members of the offense remaining. 3 for Blackwatch with a little call-out beacon, Brandon, somewhere here by the dumpster.
Yeah, having Brandon there is going to be critical for this. So Nev just called out Noto now. And Lightwolf is approaching. I don't know if they know about Silverfire.
Oh, poor timing on that rotation as the pick comes in. Noto swings, looks, but Neva's got the second. Now it's 30 seconds left on the clock, walking right past the body of Brandon, and she's got pad out. 20 seconds left. Wet the Block has to rotate. Is Lightwolf here for the coverage? Can he spot this before the code goes in? He can. Yes. And there it is, the pick coming in for Pandas, getting themselves on the board here in map 3. What a series there. Could have almost been 2 points. Honestly, Blackwatch should be breathing a sigh of relief.
Blackwatch had that locked down though. I feel like they just got a bit antsy in that last 30 seconds and they started to rotate when they didn't need to. They had the objective covered. As soon as they started to rotate, it fell apart. You lost. Who did we lose first on that rotation? Was it Silverfire? Trying to rotate
Silverfire,
through,
yeah.
Then Noto now, because of that pick, then rotated through the open again and got picked. It just, if they'd held their positions, they had cover of the objective, and that would have gone the other way, in my opinion. Something which they'll work on next time, I believe. Other than that, I think it's a really good defense setup. They had it. They had it really well set up. They got the picks early, and yeah, just
That downed player as well. Brandon was a linchpin, I think, for a while. He was able to get the call-outs on Nev as she rotated around. That's what forced Android to go out. I think it would have been a cap otherwise had there been no call-out there.
Precisely.
I think that could have gone very poorly for them. So lucky for Blackwatch that Brandon did not get confirmed by Neva as she came around that corner. But yeah, it was quite an interesting one to watch. I'm curious to see how this offensive play from Blackwatch will be as we get into round 2.
You can tell that it's a new objective because you're just not getting. People don't know where they can move yet, and we'll see this objective evolve over the coming weeks, I believe.
Yeah, there's always that adjustment period as teams figure out their strategies and, you know, what's a no-no and what's an absolutely must type of scenario as you approach. But round 2 underway. We'll see how Blackwatch approaches as they go on their first offensive round here in map 3, the series decider. If you're just tuning in, maps 1 and 2, both 4-1s for both teams. So Blackwatch picking up the first, Pandas picking up Downfall. And we are in a tied series all the way across the board. Suppressive fire there from Wet the Block. And Brandon. Ooh, a lot of people sending bullets down towards the defense, but everybody's pretty tucked in. This is a very, actually a relatively similar defense to what we just saw from the Blackwatch team. Key difference is that south defender all the way down in that south shed you can see on the overhead map, and then of course one up in the northeast corner windowed building there. Those are the two main differences, but Light Wolf able to scoop up
-1.
Noto. Absolutely not aware of Light Wolf's position. We'll see if Cash Crazy can deal with this position now that he's got those bullets to guide him.
I don't know if Cash Crazy knows this or not, but you can shoot through those sheds. So if he suspects that Light Wolf is in there, he can light that place up.
Yeah, it's something we haven't seen teams do a whole lot on Bazaar just yet, is using that penetration to clear these rather than having to, you know, actually endanger your life by walking into it. Taking his time, certainly, to clear it, trying to stay somewhat quiet. I don't think Light Wolf is aware. Oh, now he is as the footsteps ring out. Oh, he checks all of the area except for the corner where Light Wolf is sitting. That's that false sense of confidence right here. If you come around this and you just assume you've cleared it properly, and there he is, he swings inside. He is able to get the turn onto Light Wolf. And that is the south opened up quite a bit for this Blackwatch offense to exploit.
Yeah, rest of the team really taking their time to clear angles. Brandon hanging out in the north side of the market and Silverfire in the south side of the market. Looks like they want to be a bit more deliberate about this attack. Which makes sense. Bazaar has tons of angles that you can get picked from. Lots of little sneaky spots. You don't want to rush through this map too much.
Shots from Wet the Block there as he finds the inside of the blue room, and Ryan Dean going down and out. Now Nexus forced to rotate here. Should spot Wet the Block indeed. Indeed they do, and that is going to make it a 3v3, keeping things even across the board. Oh, I'm curious. Is Cash Crazy going to spot Neva in this position first? Well, looks like Neva caught the peek, and now there's two lasers on it, and he just ducks the bullets in time.
There's one on the south.
Brandon's coming up from the opposite side. Troy takes some shots over the fence, but they were both looking at the same spot at the same time. Brandon could potentially take advantage of that. Although Android is now rotating into the shack behind Neva.
Silverfire committed to that center Bazaar. I'm a little confused as to what that position really is supposed to offer. at this stage. I mean, you've got two members of your offense pretty close to the objective. You would think Silverfire would want to be somewhere along the mid street, giving some cover fire if the approach comes out, but he is way out of position for a minute and a half left in this round.
It would make a little more sense if he was using that LMG with its big box magazine for cover fire of some kind, but I agree, it's a really narrow slice of the objective to be watching from such a far distance. He's got smoke grenades, but he's too far to be using them. It's just, it seems... there we go, some cover fire comes out on the objective now.
Now the suppression working well in the favor of the offense here. This Nexus pushes the back of Cash Crazy there. Oh, but Cash, an unfortunate swap there by me to the wrong player, but Cash able to scoop up that pick in 60 seconds left on the clock. Just two members of this Panda's defense left. Brandon close on the other side of this wall. I mean, this is almost cap territory if they can keep Neva and Android focused on this south approach.
Brandon appears to be rotating for kills, but he's only got 35 seconds left.
The watch is going to beep in about 2 seconds, and they're going to know they got to move. But Brandon should be able to find the back of Android here, as he's not aware at all of this position. Neva finds one in Cash Crazy going down, and now here's the crash. 20 seconds left. Brandon's got Pat out. He's not going to check where Neva is. Is this going to be a cap underneath the defense? Is Neva going to check? The code's being punched in. No, she spots it out just in time, and Silverfire comes in, Pat out as well. And Neva able to secure the defense, but only just so. I mean, what a wild round that was at the end. Last 30 seconds. James, thoughts on that chaos there in the final
Well, heart
minute?
rate, those last 30 seconds, wow, a lot went on. It was a great pick and then push, but it was just Silverfire was a little bit too far out to give that support at the required time. They probably should have looked for the pick then. I'm not sure if they had the full kill count, if there were any trades in there. Oh man, that was almost a cap. Would have liked to see Silverfire be a bit closer so he could have reacted onto Neva when she got that pick on the person capping. You could see why his position was there in the bazaar. Eventually, he had a 4 times, and he was just watching that narrow angle onto where eventually Nexus rotated through. Quite a common defensive spot, but he needed to come off that position about 20 seconds earlier just to give a bit of support. Oh, I feel like that was a round Blackwatch had almost fully locked down, and it just slipped through their fingers a little bit there.
Yeah, had he gone to the other side of the tank and Silverfire opted for the other side of the tank, I think that could have still been a cap for them. I think just going to that same area where your teammate just died was that split-second decision. I don't think he quite saw it. I think he was just on the other side of the tank when that first kill came out, and he had already committed to it with Pat out. But yeah, quite the chaos there as Panda secures by the skin of their teeth, more or less, a second round win. And now we're gonna see what happens as the objective shifts. We've got Center Kayat is gonna be the objective attacked by this Pandamonium team, and you gotta be thinking, are they thinking cap? You know, is this and I guess I'll ask Theta here, would you expect a team like Pandas to try and, you know, quick rush this and get those 2 points in quickly and risk it all? Maybe, you know, seal the deal here, or you think they're going to still play calm and collected?
Truth be told, they're really not the kind of team that would just run in and try for a cap, at least in my experience. So if they did that, I would be shocked. Of course, this is Onward, so now that I've said that, they're probably going to just rush in and do a quote with cap real quick. But no, I would not put my money on that happening with Pandamonium.
All right, well, we won't have to wait too long to find out what's happening, because round 3 is underway. And Blackwatch on the defense here. Panda looking to, at the very least, get up into a 3-0 lead, but Blackwatch hungry for points on the board here in map 3 as well. So we'll see how this shakes out as the teams get underway.
run down Split Street? No?
Cross there by Ryan and Nexus. Pretty uneventful. No shots ringing out. I don't think anybody from the defense was able to identify their cross. It's one of the things that back in my tenure as a team captain, I always talked about this objective, is watching that South Street early and getting an idea of where they're crossing from and to, and getting an accurate count can be so helpful in the early rounds or the early minutes of this game, because you can get an idea of, you know, where do your resources have to be focused. Are they pushing anybody across to the other side of the map, or are you going to be focused on an entirely western-based push or an eastern-based push, whatever the case may be? It's a lot more advantageous than I think a lot of teams are aware of, and I'm surprised not to see a lot of people peeking that angle early. Cash Crazy with a pick on to Neva. That's gonna make it a quick 5v4.
True to form, they are looking more for an encirclement. They did not try to rush through for the quick cap. But the Pandas are pretty good at attacks like this, so they can get a decent encirclement. Things can fall apart pretty fast for a defense.
He's all the way at the far end. I hit him a couple of times. I don't know if he's dead.
I think the Pandas are shooting at each other right now.
They are indeed. It looks like Nexus was the one catching those bullets, and we had just jumped away as Ryan Dean was able to scoop up one in that east courtyard. Meanwhile, Cash Crazy able to do a quick rotation and nab the back of Android Goat. That's gonna slow Lightwolf up a little bit as he looks for that flanker. Of course, he's already gone. Brandon, meanwhile, scoops up Ryan Dean in the window with a nice little headshot. That's going to put Pandas on the back foot, as they now just have 2 members up.
And this is a very defendable objective with 4. If they lose one more, it becomes a lot more challenging, but this is a strong position to be in for this objective.
Coverage so far is good. They've got one upstairs. Brandon on this fountain position. I mean, it's such a common position. You almost always expect somebody there, but it's still so strong and such a good defensive position, especially in the final moments, or if you're really worried about a potential cap. You actually must have somebody out in that courtyard watching in, because it's so difficult to keep an eye on. Cash Crazy there will find Light Wolf, leaving just Nexus here for the offense. A lot of work to do and not a ton of time to do it in, but a good start, as Noto going down now means there's 1 less on the field, just 3 left as Nexus pushes in, but there's that fountain position. Brandon able to shut down the potential push into the building and get Blackwatch on the board here with their first point.
The attacks just came in a little bit too one at a time, I feel, on that attack. So there was no information gained from losing a friendly. Like, that fountain position probably should have been identified and taken out. Once it's identified, you can deal with it. You could tell there that Nexus hadn't identified it and just ran straight past it. A couple of little mistakes from Pandamonium cost them there. Getting those picks on, as Theta said during the round, as soon as you get the defense down to 3, the defense is on the back foot. They're the ones who have to rotate, and you can get the picks. Without getting those picks on the defenders early or during the round at any point, really, you've got a very hard task. So I would have liked to see a bit more safer routes on the attack to lead up, and then more of a coordinated attack, and maybe some use of a utility would have been good there to block the vision from that fountain. There's certain locations which, yeah, it could have helped quite a lot. Other than that, I don't know, big defensive hold for Blackwatch, because that objective can often result in a cap, and certainly probably results in more offensive wins than some of the other objectives on this map.
Yeah, we'll see if Blackwatch can capitalize on that, as now it's their turn to try and get in range and punch in a code if they can and get the lead for the first time in map 3 as round 4 gets underway. As Merritt spawns for the offense, they will be coming from that southwest corner, crossing that south street again, to going across with Brandon putting a little bit of suppressing fire down towards that eastern Coyote. Android has to actually rotate out now, but Lightwolf will scoop up the first kill. Now it just leaves Wet the Block here on the western side.
At least one additional contact my side.
This is another critical control point. If you can shut down either one of these flanks, either east or west, it just gets so much harder for the offense, especially if you have a good defensive setup near the center of the map. Because really the whole point in this attack is you want to get around, you want to encircle them, come from multiple angles at once. But if you shut down even one of those angles, it becomes much easier to think about how to defend this.
Well, suppressive fire there by Brandon will keep him safe on the cross in mid-street.
The block made it to the north, but Lightwolf has adjusted his aim now. He's looking down that hallway through the western courtyard. So Wet the Block keeps going down this path, he is likely to get picked up. So Lightwolf is, as I say that, adjusts his position. Oh, and it just crosses across and does not get spotted. So now they have an attacker on the north side, which is very dangerous.
Looks like Lightwolf did spot him, just a little too late. Now, yeah, here he comes to fix the problem of not being able to get that shot early. Swings on Wet the Block, able to get that kill quick and easy. Oh, that grenade a little too late there by Nexus to help out. So now the rest of the attack going to be coming from the east side, 2 in the north, 1 in the south. Keeping it nice and quiet. They got plenty of time, 3.5 minutes. No need to rush this. Android going to be the linchpin here if he can
Footsteps north outside the wall.
assist Nexus with these picks. Now he's got that call out. Nexus going to swing after that flashbang. Does it find Cash and Mate? No, I don't think it did, but he just opted to run straight towards that objective room. 3 defenders there to shut down that approach as Neva finds Silverfire and Brandon. A nice little refrag there at the end to try to even things out a little bit, but there's a lot of work to do on that front for Brandon as 3 minutes left on the clock, but 4 defenders to still have to deal with. Gonna ride along with Brandon as he tries his darndest to turn this around for the Blackwatch folks. This is going to put Pandamonium on match point for the rest of the series. So if they want to win, they're absolutely going to need to put the pedal to the metal in the next couple of rounds, as Pandamonium do manage to hold that defense and get 3 points on the board here in map 3. James, any thoughts on that offense?
As is classically the case with Kiot, there were definitely some weaknesses in the defense which could have been exploited by the attack. Obviously, we can see them in caster vision, and you can't see them down in the field. But an attack straight in through the market would have actually paid off quite well there. Attack-wise, losing that person early on that cross out west, that's a hard one to deal with. And then the rest, they were getting close to objective. but they just got spotted out at critical points, got flanked on from behind, and then pushed in an attack through a zone when they'd been identified and got killed by 3 people all looking at them at once. It's one of those objectives where if you get an early pick on attack, or if you get a little bit lucky on attack, you can get a cap, you can force some rotations out of defense. But if you, as I said last round, if you don't get those early picks on attack, it is a hard one to attack. Defense can lock it down. There's a lot of spots which you need to look for, lots of mini rotations the defense can do to get to behind you. Yeah, interested to see what this defense brings, because it's maybe a bit more less entrances, but also the ability to have really quick attacks, getting yourself onto objective within the first 30 seconds.
Yeah, that's a tough one. I think that's always been a tough one for a lot of the teams throughout the seasons, at least I've played and participated in, because if you don't let the defense get set up, I think that's why a lot of teams opt to play that one quickly, because if you don't let the defense get the right coverage, get into their positions, and you get in there early, you toss in the smokes, you cause chaos, I find Marsoc is a lot more effective on that objective when that happens. But the slower role plays, you really have to be synchronized if you want to do that objective slow. It feels like you really have to know where your teammates are, at what time you're going to push in, when are you going to make the move. It's a lot of coordination that has to happen, and it takes a while. It takes a while to dial that in for some teams. All right, round number 5 underway for this Pandamonium Black Watch match. If you're just tuning in, you're right at the end. You have taken too long to tune into this match, because 2 maps are already done, and the third is looking pretty grim right now for the Black Watch boys, but anything can happen. This is Onward after all. They are on the defense. A good time for them to get another point on the board and try to even things out against this Pandamonium squad that has been playing really well ever since downfall last map.
Yeah, it's interesting too, because on the last map we had that pattern of everybody having somebody down within the first 30 seconds, and it's the exact opposite on this map. People are playing way more deliberate.
Ryan Dean already, yeah, I mean, he is here. Swings out. Noto may have spotted him there. I'm not actually sure if he had the right angle, but he's already on the inside here, as Cash Crazy finds the first pick of the round in Nexus there, and now it's going to be a 4v5, no, 5v3, as Ryan Dean goes down on the outside, and a great defensive position there by Cash. Will scoop up 2 kills, nice and early in the round. Give Blackwatch an opportunity to put that second point on the board and maybe start catching up a little bit to this Pandamonium runaway map. Cash rotating to the outside here, should be able to spot out Lightwolf, who's a little distracted towards the objective wall, and Cash is on an absolute tear. 3 kills in this round for him already.
Android's now creeping into the blue room behind Silverfire. So far, no callouts. Don't think he's giving off any sounds yet. If he spots Brandon, he may well here in a moment. Silverfire will for sure know he's there.
Well, he definitely knows Silverfire is there now, and I think Brandon may have just seen the gun of Android Goat. We'll see if he does. Silverfire going down there, and He's just gonna have to deal with Brandon first, unless this cash crazy, kill crazy player will opt to do a quick rush into the blue room, but it doesn't look like that's the case. He's gonna trust the defense to hold here as one member of Panda's remaining. He just kind of tucked himself in. Gonna ride along as Android tries to deal with this 4-man defense still left. Plenty of time in which to make some moves, but it looks like they've got him dialed in. This is going to be pretty tough to escape.
Yeah, everybody knows where he is now. He's in trouble regardless of where he goes. He pops out towards the objective. Brandon's got an angle, and so does Noto now. And Cash Crazy's watching the exit on the opposite side. Defense is doing the right thing. They're not chasing him. They're just letting him sit there because they know he can't go anywhere. And I would assume they have an accurate kill count. It seems like it.
At the very least, they know the general area Android's coming from, but not sure there's going to be much that they can do other than their already pretty tight positioning to prevent anything from going awry. And just like that, Cash picks up the 4th kill for him that round, and the final kill of that round to give Blackwatch 2 points here on map 3. I mean, he's been on an absolute tear. If you're looking at the scoreboard right now, he's got 10 kills on this map alone. Definitely the MVP for the Blackwatch team. Brandon also with 5 on his side. So they've got the kills going. It's just the strategies seem to be falling apart when they do their offensive approaches. That has so far been one of their biggest weaknesses, and of course a strong Panda defense in a lot of cases. I want to know if folks in the chat are vying for one team or another. Who do you think is going to be able to pull this out? I mean, it's just a cap at this stage for Blackwatch. If they can pull off a 2-point cap attack on this next run for the East Hotel, that's it. That's their map. It's their series. But likewise, Panda just has to hold, and they'll take the map as well. So drop your predictions in the chat. Let us know what you think. Well, any thoughts from you, Theta? I do want to see if you have any predictions for how this might turn out.
Well, considering how Blackwatch has been playing, I think there's a strong possibility they're going to do the old smoke and rush. This is, aside from Kiat, probably the most capable objective, just because there's multiple angles you can approach it from and put the code in.
It is definitely spawn dependent. You know, I think it's also very much spawn dependent.
Yeah, and at that, I would say Blackwatch does not have the best spawn for it. The ones that really you see the fast action on the objective are the quick spawn, where you can just rush through the market, maybe get somebody in Kiat throwing grenades in, and then somebody pops in and gets the cap. So now they're going to have to be a little bit more slow and deliberate because they're so far away.
Early fire coming out from Brandon there onto the Kiat. I don't think he...
at the top of that staircase.
He did spot out a member of the defense heading up top into that little stairwell of East Hotel, and not able to land the shots, unfortunately. That's going to leave 5 up for Pandas here in this potentially final round.
Go to that building. Next one over. Yeah, right next to us.
Pandas have a pretty standard defense. Lots of good overlapping lines. Somebody watching the north, somebody watching from across the street. Blackwatch is split up, looking for another encirclement if possible.
Got the right idea here. Some shots coming out from Cash into that position that was called out earlier. No love, however, as they have rotated out now. Used to be Light Wolf that was in that position, but now all on objective. And they're letting Blackwatch get quite a bit of real estate with this tucked-in defense. As they get closer and closer, it's all going to come down to timing. Will those members of the offense, you can see them there on the overhead map, coming across the courtyard, will they be there in time for this south push? I mean, this is the positions you want, ideally, is this circled up defense. Neva finding the first kill there on to wet the block, just a down. There it is, the confirm does come out. It's going to prevent any call-outs from coming out.
Noto now making a decent amount of noise right behind Nexus. Nexus has to know he's there. Seems to be rotating around, looking for him. There it is. Nexus takes out Noto. So now 3 left on the offense and about halfway through the round.
Ryan Dean just getting a little too antsy, caught out by Cash Crazy. Android Go rotating, looking for the pick. A little too slow. Now Cash on the inside, but Nexus all the way across, able to get that pick for Pandas. That is huge. That is huge for them right now. Had he gotten Android and maybe even one more, that could have absolutely been dangerous with just Light Wolf on the objective. But now they've got 4 up, just 2 members of the offense left. Silverfire's in a great position here. If he can swing and get Light Wolf, he could really put the pressure on this OBJ. Brandon and Navaste trade. It's all just downs as Light Wolf sends some fire down. He's got his audio ID'd now by Silverfire. Silverfire's got Pat out. You should know you can't cap from behind that wall. You've got to be a little closer. This is so ballsy right here. He's going for this cap right underneath Light Wolf. If he can't, he's going to creep just close. Is Light Wolf not going to
He's doing it. He's putting the code in. He's putting the code in.
The code is in.
Wow.
Silverfire with an absolutely manic cap position, able to get underneath. Unbelievable. Underneath Light Wolf and get that code in. Let's take a look at that again from the replay. I mean, just gets right in the position. Those 2 defenders near Blue Room just so focused on clearing that area out. We're not looking towards objective. And there it was. The code comes in and Blackwatch with an absolute shocker.
I have to say, I thought Pandamonium had that wrapped up. I thought for sure he would maybe poke his tablet out too far or something from that position, but I think he was just, if he had moved an inch further, he would have been spotted. But he was just right on that edge of capping, right in that spot where Light Wolf could not see him. It just, the stars aligned for Silverfire right there for that cap. That was really something to behold.
That was an incredible play there. We'll take a look at the match highlights here as we do our sign-off. Apologies for that overall score not being correct. Of course, it is an 8-9 score line going the way of Blackwatch there, but they did win 2 maps as well. And what a series it was. I mean, a fantastic set of gameplay from both sides. Very great defenses. Some awesome offensive pushes. It was quite a series to watch. Glad we picked this cast up. Any final thoughts from you, Theta, on that match?
No, all I can say is Season 11 has not been a disappointment so far. It's exciting games all around, and I'm glad we caught this, like you said.
Yeah, it has been a really fun series to cast. I do want to thank everybody for tuning in. And actually, as a bit of a surprise, I think I might go for a quick double header here on Sunday. So if you're already tuned in, you can stick around because I think I'll be picking up a second game here in just a few moments as I coordinate. But I will wrap this one up, and thank you to everybody who came to tune into this match, for hanging out and chat and hanging out with us all on your Sunday afternoon, morning, evening, wherever you are. I do want to thank our sponsors. You've seen them scrolling across the bottom of the screen. I'm not going to read them out this time, but at the end of next cast, I'm sure I will. Go check them out and all the fantastic products and services that they provide for us, as well as the prizing for our leagues. But yeah, that is going to do it for me and Theta on this match. But don't go anywhere. I will wrap this cast up and get a second one going here in just a few moments. You know, just for the VRML folk, you know, you gotta spread the love. So don't go anywhere. We'll be right back, but thanks for watching, and we'll see you in just a few.